Hello everyone, and welcome to the Primal Review. An amazing animal mod, with the potential to compete with others. Well known, like Alex Mobs, and no, that's not an exaggeration. Well, in this video I will give you my points as to why I believe this one is manageable, correctly, can easily be converted in Ultimate Animal Mode. Retracted. So, with that said, I hope you've already left your like, that we are going to begin. Well, first of all, this mod is called Primal, which to this day only, it will feature for new creatures. Yes, I know there are a few, but believe me, I still firmly believe that this mod has enormous potential. Furthermore, they are not only for creatures we will see, because each one will have different color variations, and even shapes depending of the circumstances or biome in which it is found. And watch out for this. The mod remained for more than 3 months without receiving any type of update. And there was even a moment where I thought this would remain cancelled indefinitely.
Digas eso, mi amor, por favor.
But just a few weeks ago, I managed to contact the creator. And I don't know if it was because of the project's support, or it just so happened that right when I contacted him, he started working again, sending me some of their progress for next time update. And yes, it brings new animals, but we'll see all this later. First, let's start with the animal that finished me off. Falling in love with this mod, well, yes. Well, the other creatures aren't bad at all. Seeing it made it perfectly clear to me that it would take a completely different course to other animal mods. That somehow, they were trying to be the next Alex's Mobs.
Soñar no cuesta nada.
And let's see. I just want them to look. Alex Mob's eagle model. A small creature with a more realistic appearance. And on the other hand, we have the Primal Eagle. Much larger and with a more cartoonish style. And here many people could be divided. But personally, I think the Primal Eagle, it fits much better with the Minecraft style. Because, well, if we analyze it, we can see that realism, it's not something that usually happens to characterize Minecraft.
Aquí no hacemos eso.
We can see this reflected with the bee's own design. One opinion of many, they say these should have been much smaller. Some even asking that these were to pixels, yellow and black. But if they had done so, as of today we would not have one of the best designs of mobs throughout the game. But anyway, I'm getting off topic to talk about eagles. First we must get to know all its variants. Because yes, just as I mentioned, we will have more than one variant of each creature. Bald eagles. They will originate from the ice peak biome. You know, the classic one that will be representative of the United States, and possibly one of the best known in the world. This is due to its peculiar white and brown coloration. On the other hand, we will have the golden eagle, also known as the royal eagle, and also being one of the best known species, to the point of being the national emblem of the Mexican flag. These can be generated on steep summits. The harpy eagle, it will be one of the largest species, reaching a length of over 90 centimeters. Having a diet, mostly made up of mammals such as sloths and monkeys. Besides being large, it will also be easily recognizable by its peculiar grayish coloration. We can find it in rocky summit biomes. And finally, we have the Philippine eagle, one of the most striking species, due to appearance and coloration of its feathers, even rivaling in size to the harpy eagle, reaching having specimens with sizes that they will be around 100 centimeters. But unfortunately, being an endangered species, counting only with 400 documented copies, we can find it in windy savanna biomes. Now, regarding its mechanics and abilities, these will have the capacity to take their prey with their claws, and even dropping them to destroy them. A fairly common form of the eagles in real life, to finish off their prey. Sometimes we can also find them accompanied by their nest and object. It's extremely rare that we won't be able to craft it. They can also be domesticated, but only in its breeding form. And if we feed them enough chicken, we can confirm this by seeing it appear to him, a red tag on its paw, Once it's grown, it will follow you flying, even taking, with its claws, to hostile creatures that pose a threat for you, letting them fall to their death. And of course, an extra skill, where you can highlight enemies near you. Moving on to the next creature, we will have sharks. Interestingly, one of the animals next to the crocodile that Mohan even confirmed that it will never be in the game.
Soy una inútil.
Damn. Look, we already know what the community is like, and even more so when it comes to that truly it is needed in the seas. In this case, we will have 3 variants. The basic shark one, we can find it in cold, frozen oceans. I've possibly been based on great white sharks, your most well-known species worldwide, although the species usually prefer warmer climates. On the other hand, another species that will also keep, it shares certain similarities with the Greenland shark, capable of withstanding temperatures of -1 degree Celsius.
Es horrible.
Then we'll have the hammerhead shark, one of the few cases of mom where not only will it change, not only its coloring but also its shape, having the characteristic elongated shape of its head, and that in a certain way, it gives it a much better one, ability to detect its prey. This is thanks to electromagnetic fields. And yes, it's not a joke. If sharks were Pokemon, they would most likely be of the electric or water type. We can find the species in warm oceans. And finally, we'll have its tiger shark variant. And obviously, to differentiate it, a little more of its variant. They dyed it yellow, basically. In addition to some curious marks that will make reference to a tiger's fur. In real life, it is, being one of the species, more dangerous and aggressive. Being, this is the one with the most human victims. Have in your possession.
No me destruirá si cree que ya fui destruido.
Surpassing others of greater size and strength, like the great white shark. Now, moving on to the characteristics of the shark. They will be neutral creatures, attacking only squid and, of course, 2 creatures that have already been harmed, and not have the best time of their lives, obviously. In the case of a hint that sharks are becoming more aggressive upon sensing the blood of some creature.
Delicioso.
Sometimes when they will attack and loosen some of their teeth that we can use to create either the shark banner, arrows, and surprisingly, the trident.
¡Qué buena noticia!
Although sharks cannot be domesticated, yes, they will feel attracted to players who have the effect of channeler, the structure that allows you to breathe underwater, the thing that nobody builds, and it needs the heart of the sea. Seriously, nobody. Well, I don't blame them either. How to make breathing potions. Aquatic life always comes cheaper. But look, now you'll have one more reason to build this structure. Well, not only will they no longer attack us, but even they will come to protect you if you are in danger. And since we're talking about animals banned by Mohan, we will have enormous crocodiles and lizards, semi-aquatic, which will practically be modern dinosaurs. Of these we can find for variants. The green crocodile possibly, based on the American crocodile, a large species capable of reaching at 5 meters in length, capable of moving even through salt water. The green crocodile, it can be found in all types of swamps. The black crocodile will be native to the jungles and mangroves. With this data, we are now more than clear that it will be based on a black crocodile or alligator. Yes, what a surprise!
Debió ser una sorpresa gigante.
Who will live mainly in the Amazon rainforest. Its coloration will allow it to camouflage itself perfectly in the lakes without attracting too much attention from their prey, and being one of the largest crocodile species, along with the one we will see next. The arid crocodiles will have a brown coloration. This fits him like a glove, to the finger to camouflage itself in vegetated terrain, yellowish like savannas and deserts. Obviously in the species that will be based, they will be Nile crocodiles. It is becoming one of the largest species of the African continent, at the same time as long-lived, with fossil records between 5 and 7 million years. And finally, we have the rarest variant of all, the albino crocodile only, and can be obtained through reproduction. This is regardless of the biome or the color of their parents. This rare condition, it will be present in almost all types of animals, or even people, due to a mutation, hereditary by not producing sufficient melanin. This being responsible for giving pigmentation to the skin and hair, and also the eyes. The latter retaining a characteristic red color. Is estimated that there are between 100 and 100 crocodiles, albinos worldwide, but clearly in captivity, since they would not survive too long in their natural habitat, being too much eye-catching for their dams or even also for their predators. In terms of its mechanics and behaviors, the crocodiles, they will become aggressive if we get too close to them. It's best if you keep your distance. The good news is that you will be able to calm them down by feeding them raw chicken. With this same food, you will also be able to play them. Once the young grow up, these will shed their scales, or in case you need a larger quantity of these, you will also be able to tame them by brushing them with a paintbrush. Although the scales they shed always, they will be green. We will be able to adapt them to any of its variants. As a result, we will have a new set of blocks, decorative items made with crocodile skin and having the feature of being explosion-proof. But of course, if we're talking about one of his skills, strangest, will include storing objects in their stomach, being practically living chests. Imagine storing your diamonds within a crocodile so that nobody more you can find them. And to be able to recover them, simply tickle him with a feather. And finally, the new animals. We'll have the bears. Enormous omnivorous animals that curiously, yes, they were added to Minecraft, or at least two of its variants. Best known, the polar bear and the panda. But clearly, we would be missing their species. Most representative, the grizzly bear is one of the bear variants, larger and better known brown, from all over the world and inhabiting mainly American territories, reaching up to 2 meters in length. These can be found in the black bear is natural in all types of forest biomes. It will be one of the most common variants on the continent, American, but being significantly smaller. In compensation, this will be extremely agile and with great skill to climb trees. These can be found in jungle biomes. And finally, we have one of the rarest species. And that little by little becomes more common due to the disappearance of the poles the bear. The growler is a hybrid between the bear, grizzly, and the polar bear, keeping the best of both. Climate resistance, ice cream along with the power and the aggressiveness of the grizzly bear.
Lo mejor de ambos mundos.
Its distinctive feature will obviously be its light brown fur. We will be able to create this new species by feed them with cubes of salmon. Regarding behavior and characteristics of the bear, this one will have a clear weakness for honey. Being able to be domesticated, if we feed it honeycomb, they will be creatures with a high quality of life and creating attacks that will cause area damage. The most interesting thing will be that we can equip it with barrels, being able to store things inside them. Although if we fill them with sweet berries, they will be eaten by the bear himself. This is so that it can heal in case of injury, thus making it a true tank on the battlefield. And well, folks, those will be the first species that were added to this day. But curiously, and so that their designs don't clash too much with that of other Minecraft creatures, some of these will have been remodeled. The one you've probably already noticed is the polar bear, doing it practically, another variant of the grizzly bear. And of course, they also improved the appearance of the foxes, giving them an appearance much more detailed and closer to its realistic form. But without losing what makes it unique in style, vanilla.
Un gran cambio.
Another detail that I also forgot, that's the issue with some objects, such as nests, only obtainable in the wild. But we can use them for incubation, any type of egg, accelerating its growth and protecting them from all kinds of footprints. The banners were another thing worth mentioning, each with a design that will make reference to the added creatures because of this mod, among other small details that we will have. in our world, such as new plants, seashells that will be generated on beaches. Now, let's talk about the future of the mod. This project, as I mentioned, it remained paused for a few months, not even receiving the typical maintenance updates.
Maldita sea.
Fortunately, we already have some advances and improvements, which will arrive in their 0.0 version. First, new animals. In this next installment, we will be added both the walruses that will appear in biomes, ice cream, and the beaches, and of course the cassowaries, known for being the largest bird and dangerous of the planet. These may be generated in bamboo biomes, among others, improvements and additions that will greatly enhance the mod, such as more variations and textures of sharks, the ability to swim and dive, of the bears to get food, new changes in the models of the offspring possibly, being inspired by a certain Minecraft update. And of course, they're still planning to remodel some creatures with primitive appearances, such as rabbits and also each of the regional variants of wolves.
Sí, estuvo mejor de lo que esperaba.
But tell me, what did you think of this mod? What is your final opinion? Do you really believe this? That this can become one of the best animal mods? Or is it simply me exaggerating? You can also comment on this. Which one was your favorite animal, along with its respective variant? I'll be reading your comments. And well guys, I hope you enjoyed it and had fun. That's the most important thing for me. If you liked the video, I would ask you to please leave your like. Please comment on what you thought of this video. What other types of videos would you like to see on the channel? And also subscribe. That's very important. Remember the polar bears in Minecraft. They're useless. See you in the next video. Bye.